Notice, in accordance with the new COPPA regulations, this episode of Quoth the Raven is intended for ages 16 and up. While some of the content we will feature is kid-friendly, the context of this episode is to address and educate older teens and adults to inform them of said content for them to research as consumers in service of their youth. In other words, parents, grandparents, aunts and uncles, teachers, librarians, etc. There is the possibility of adult language present on the episode as well, rated TV 16 and up. Welcome to Quoth the Raven, Lewis Bright Raven. I'm your host, Lewis Bright Raven. It's Thursday, September 17th, 2020. And tonight's intended presentations of Steve Rude's sketchbooks and Frank Cho's sketchbook. Got a little bit of a kerfluffle here right before the show. I don't know. I know I'm gonna be able to show the Frank Cho sketchbook. I don't know about the Steve Rude yet because it's a PDF file and it's not wanting to open and share all of a sudden. It worked last week. It's not working now. I don't know why. But before that, we got to do a little bit of business. So let's go ahead and do that. And let's show my book, Wingman, or Lewis Bright Raven. It is a 48-page black and white historical book with lots of illustrations. Discusses my career from my early years in high school and when I started doing work in college, inking other people and other things, up until around when this book was produced back in 2011. It has previews of projects I've worked on, other things as well. It's $10 plus shipping and handling, or $15 with a sketch produced of the character you'd like inside on the front cover page underneath the Art of Lewis Bright Raven logo. So if you're interested in that, you can inquire at Quoth the Raven LBR72 at gmail.com. Okay. I'll be doing some sketches of that type of assignment where I do the sketch in the book this weekend on the program for live draw as well. So you can see what I'm doing if you're interested in that. So let's go ahead and move on to our next part of this episode. And that's our questions and answers for the week. And our first question of the night is from Debbie from Michigan. You seem to have fallen behind schedule on some of your reviews, or am I wrong? It just seems like some of the stuff you've reviewed in the past has had some new issues out and you haven't covered them. That is correct, Debbie. I have not kept up to date on everything. That's part of why I'm going to have to start possibly doing more than one show a week, get caught up on some of this stuff. I've been getting a lot of stuff going on project-wise that I need to try and get finished. And I've been getting a lot of extra books, which means less time to read and more stuff to read. So hopefully we'll start doing it where I have like maybe 2 or 3 episodes starting next week. And we'll try and get some of that stuff caught up. But some of the stuff I've also said I'm not going to do reviews of in the future because I'm done with those stories or because I've said what I've got to say about them. There's not much more to be added to it, so I'm not talking about those as well. But we'll see where that goes as we move into the future. Our next question. TJ from Illinois, are you ever going to talk about your history of fanzines or underground comics or have guests who are more from that corner of the comics industry? TJ's TJ Lomas. And he and I'm more friends with his brother Kevin. He did Mufado 160 in the 80s, and TJ did some other underground stuff at the time. And he keeps bugging me about this. Yes, I'm going to start bringing more into the show about that. I can't do my specific stuff directly anymore because unfortunately, a lot of my stuff that I did in the 80s and 90s has been lost, my copies of it, because when I moved out west, it got lost, either lost or stolen. When our truck broke down, we had to move everything from one trailer to another trailer. But yeah, I just joined a Facebook group called United Fanzine Organization. I'm looking at their stuff. I'm going to be talking with people, hopefully getting them on as guests in the future. So we're going to talk about that stuff. We're going to have presentations of their books and stuff like that as well. So yeah, we're going to get into that down the road. Okay, TJ, stop bugging me. Next question. Gary R asks, what do you think of the Keanu, it's supposed to say Reeves, I didn't realize there was a typo there, Keanu Reeves comic that is being crowdfunded? I know that there is one, but I don't have any interest in it, so I haven't really looked at it. I don't have an opinion on it. My view is when it comes to celebrities from film or television or music bands or artists or whatever who have already achieved success and and wealth and fame in another market, I really don't care if they're in comics. I just don't support them. That's not what I'm looking for when I buy comics. So whether it's Keanu Reeves or Rosario Dawson or Jennifer Love Hewitt or Pete Wentz or CM Punk or whoever it is, I just don't give a damn. So, I understand that there's some people out there who are probably complaining because it's being crowdfunded because, hey, Keanu Reeves is rich. He shouldn't have to be funding his book. And I can understand that sentiment, but, everybody's doing the crowdfunding thing now so that they don't have to spend their own money. So it is what it is. If that's what they're complaining about, let it go. And if it's a thing of, well, why is this guy even here? He's not really a comics guy. He's, again, whatever. If you don't like it, just ignore it. That's what I do. Next question. Anonymous asks, what would you be doing if you were never into comics? What career would you have pursued? I'd actually be in fairly similar field. When I was in high school, I pursued journalism and writing. So I probably would have just been more focused in that arena. And, whether that would have led me to, print journalism and newspapers, which I did do some in the 90s, or if it would have led me to broadcasting news, who knows? But, I've been doing that, and I've been writing and editing for science fiction and fantasy and horror, which I did and have done as well over the last 27 years. So, it'd be just, a different focus, but basically the same thing. Next question. Mike from Michigan asks, how many comics do you have in your collection? Well, currently, I don't keep an exact number track. Currently, I'd say somewhere between 4,500 and 5,500 single issues and trade collections, hardcovers and softcovers alike. There was a time when I had over 30,000, but between losing some of it when I moved out west and selling some of it over the years to try and help pay my parents' medical bills and stuff like that when they were in financial distress, I whittled it down quite a bit. And I don't know if I'll ever grow it back up to that level of a collection because, with what I've got now, I can't keep track of it and keep up with all of it. So I doubt I'll ever get it back up to that level. But you know, um, I guess to me it's a situation of you just it's not a number of books or whatever isn't that big of a deal to me anymore. I think back when I was younger in my teens and early 20s, it probably did matter to me a little bit. Um, and I guess there are some times when I wish I had some books I used to have that I don't anymore. But most of the time, it's just like, fleeting moments. Like, oh, I wish I still had that run so I could do um, an article or talk about it here on the show or something that give me more content. But the reality is, I got more than enough stuff to do content on, so I don't really need it. Next question, if we have one, is from Stuart in North Carolina. He asks, I heard you were going to release Blick and Terror this summer. Did it come out and I missed it? No, it didn't come out this summer, partly due to the COVID-19 situation and partly because I didn't get the money I was supposed to get. I can't afford my colorist right now. And so until I can get that money put aside and pay them, it's on the back burner for the moment, because I definitely want to do that particular series in color. I've been debating whether or not I should put it back into black and white, but I just, I visualize it in color, so I want to do it in color, so it'll be a little bit longer. I apologize for the wait. I think that's our last question, and it is. So if you have questions for the show, please email them to quotheravenlbr72@gmail.com, subject QTR questions, and please indicate whether or not you want your name and locale read on air. I don't know we got 3 people watching. Somebody say hello, make sure everything's being seen properly. I'd appreciate it. Okay, Mark Andrew Smith says hi. Thank you. I appreciate that, Mark. We're going to go into our crowdfunding reviews tonight early because some of these ones that we're going to review are in their last hours for their being funded. So I want to make sure you guys see them now so you can check them out. Our first one is Ghost Band from our friend Jason McNamara, who did Nocturnal Commissions. This has 5 hours left to go. They have met their goal of 10,000. It's a little bit over 10,000 that they've earned, 263 backers. And let's go ahead and play this out.
Greetings. I'm Jason McNamara. I'm the writer, co-creator of Ghost Band. What is it? It's a 96-page graphic novel about the last day on Earth. And 4 strangers who have to join together and start a band. This story is about making art during a rough time. And it's a love letter to the city of San Francisco. and the creative communities destroyed by technology. It's a lot, I know, but I'm not making this alone. My co-creator is Anka Gladnick. Whew. They're a fantastic illustrator who's made work for NBC, Washington Post, NPR. I feel really fortunate to be working with Anka, and I can't wait for you all to see their work. Why Kickstarter? Anka and I are both freelancers working from home during an uncertain time. We want you to become our publisher. Ghostband has 4 chapters. We will release each of the 4 digitally over the course of the next year. And then next year, we'll print and ship the books out to you. Do I know what I'm doing? Good question. I've had 5 successful Kickstarters, and I'm ready to provide a positive experience for the backers of Ghostband. Let's rock.
Okay, now I know that you guys have seen that played out on the show before, and we've commented, both I and one of my other friends, John Norris, that we really liked how Jason did the sign language in his presentation. That was I still haven't seen anybody else do that anywhere else. We're going to discuss the rewards real quick. I pledged $27 or more as a producer, which got me the 96-page book and the PDFs, which should be 5 of them, the demo tape, which is the preview type, making of PDF, and then the 4 individual issues that they're going to release as PDFs before they put out the actual book. There are other ones. I don't know if they're going to show anymore. Here they are. You can get a single PDF for $4, 10 for all 4 of the regular PDFs, for the stories without the making of one. You can get the making of one for 15 with the other 4. You can get for $20, you can get all those PDFs plus PDFs of his other Kickstarter books, like Nocturnal Commission, Shorthand, the Cicada Issue 1, and Rattler. The Power Chord at $50 or more. You get a signed exclusive variant cover. The book is signed by the creators, a few other things that you get as well. There's 9 left of 50 of those. If you pledge $80 more, you'll get an exclusive lithograph signed and numbered by the artist Anka, as well as the other stuff that they mentioned in the $50 tier. One person, I think, it was 10 backers who could get one of that one, so that's no longer available. Guest vocalist, that's no longer available either. So, okay, you can still get the PDFs in the book basically right now, which is still good. I imagine that Jason would have added some additional stuff for additional tiers if there was more time on it. But we have his pledge goal was 10,000. They're at 10,854. And I have a lot of faith in Jason and his work. So if you haven't already looked at this and made a decision, please do so before you head to bed this evening. He's got 5 hours left to go. Let's see what else we got. All right. We have Fatal, which is by Clint Stoker from Utah. And as you can see, he's got 7 hours left, but he's well past his 8,000 fixed goal. He's at almost $60,000. So this is another book that's guaranteed to ship if you decide to order it. And let's take a quick hear on his video as well.
We've received a transmission from the planet Thandril. Shall we give it a listen?
I'm calling you because my planet is sick. And not the monarchy, not the royal guard, not a single person on this spinning rock seems to care. It started gradually. First, it got into our heads. By the time I realized something was wrong, by the time I woke up, they were already here. Things look perfect at first glance, but that's how the aliens work. That's how the invasion starts. A slow boil. I'm calling you because I can't trust anyone here. You're off planet. You're a professional. And I'm afraid we might already be dead.
Flynn? How shall I respond?
It's a job. Let's suit up.
Okay. Now that thing says back it. I believe I already have, because I'm pretty sure I ordered it. I might have ordered it through a different thing, but I'll have to see what's going on here. Real quick here. Yes, I ordered it on the 15th. So this will be estimated delivery in February 2021. And I bought the book with the wraparound cover. So I will get with that real quick here and just see what I ordered. I ordered the wraparound book with cover for $25. You can get a collector's bundle, which is 3 different books. It's the book I ordered plus the alternate cover plus the book I ordered in an artist edition, which is just black and white, and a trading card set and some other stuff in there. There's the alternate cover by Chaz Walgamot. I don't think it looks as nice as the art by Charlie, the original artist on the book. So, he did recently add a T-shirt. He added it after I bought. And the way he added it, he doesn't have it where you can get it both. You have to have 2 different orders, apparently, I guess. So I decided I wasn't getting the shirt. And then you can get the regular book that I ordered plus the artist edition for $50, or the alternate cover with the artist edition for $50. Both of those 2 covers for $50 are all 3 for $75. There's a limited print set a book sketch from Charlie for $150, which I guess you get in whichever. I don't know if it's a 6x9 that's drawn in the book or if it's a separate paper or what on that. And you can get drawn into the book for $500, which, okay. If someone wants to spend that, they're more than welcome to. It's a 52-page graphic novel, and I think Charlie Snoggins here, the artist, is got a nice style. And there's a close up again of that T-shirt design. It's going to be the bottom half of this page. On a black tee. It's a 52-page full-color graphic novel. Now, if you don't know who Clint is, he does a podcast called Sweetcast, and he is, I guess you could say, known to be related, connected to the so-called Comicsgate crew or whatever. I don't really see him as such per se. To me, Comicsgate's the elite snobs that used to be the hot talent of the 80s and 90s who have fallen out of favor and want to blame everyone but themselves. And he was never one of those guys, so I don't really count him in that group. That's why I don't mind promoting him on the show. And, it seems like an interesting concept to me, so I go ahead and got that. And you need, let's see if I can put his link in here real quick. That should be posted on the thing now. Yeah, it's in the top. It's in the chat from the YouTube page now, and go ahead and put that. And that's the that should work okay and get you to there. If it's not, just go to Indigo.com and type in FATL. It should take you there. And to go back to Jason's real quick. That's Jason's Ghost Band. Link right there, Kickstarter.com, Projects Ramon Some Ghost Band. I'm going to do a couple more Kickstarters for the evening. We're going to look at Taurus, the comic bundle, issues 1 of 4 through Taurus. And it's at 19 days to go. There was 129 gold or over 1,100, so this product will be shipped out, guaranteed. And this is mini comics for TJ. Who keeps saying, "Oh, I want mini comics." This is coming out of the UK. It comes out of Bristol, UK. It's a 4-issue self-release series drawn by Mark Ryan or Geist, and it's anything you want it to be. If you see a science fiction story, awesome. If you see a trip in the unknown, awesome. If you only see images that make you feel something, awesome. Taurus is for you, an homage to abstract comics of the past. TJ might remember I used to do a book called Abstracted Justice, so maybe this will be something akin to what you're thinking of, TJ. I don't know. There have been 2 previous successful Kickstarter campaigns to get all 4 issues created, so this is just the complete bundle. And inside this bundle is everything that has been created and released for the 2 Kickstarters. And once these limited bundles have been snapped up, the single bundles will no longer, or the single issues will no longer be available. So this will be your last chance to get the original issues of the Taurus series. The money from this Kickstarter will also be going towards producing the trade paperback and hardcover editions. So if you got, some of you might want to trade weight, but I look at it as get these now as the singles, hold on to them, and then get the trade again later, because the singles will be worth something individually as collector's items anyway. Because I'm sure he didn't have that very high of a print run. And that collection's not going to come out until late next year. So what comes inside this bundle is the 4 issues and a lot of extra little print doodads and stuff. So let's go ahead and look through them. Here's some of the interior art. And this has got a very underground fanzine vibe to it, which is something that TJ and a lot of other people have been asking me to show. So that shows some of the artwork. Now, exactly what all is in all of this that you're getting, he doesn't really describe it well enough. So let's see what he's got in the pledging. Number 1 is single issue. You can get each of the single issues is $6, about $8 US. It's actually £6. It's $8 US. For $50 or for $65, you can get an original comic page. Apparently, the bundle's already gone. I don't know. Yeah, it looks like it. I didn't realize that. That sucks. Okay, so you'd have to buy the single issues individually, which it costs a little bit more money. It costs like $32. So you might want to wait for the trade. I didn't realize that his bundles were already out. I'll have to contact him and find out a little bit more about that. We'll come back to this one in the future then. Let me see if there's something up on the updates here. September 16th. That's just something from another product. That has nothing to do with that. Okay. I just wanted to see if there was anything. Yeah, he was fully funded in 4 hours. Okay, so he just ran out of stuff. Okay, that's just the way it is. Okay, it's the way it is. We can get, if you want to get the single issues, you can. Single issues are like $8 each, and there's like quite a few left of those. From what I can see, he could actually make more bundles if you of the actual single issues. You just couldn't get all the extra goodies with the cipher and the card art and the prints and stuff like that. If I were him, I would at least put the bundles of the books together when he could, but it's up to him. He's got 19 days to figure that out. Let's go ahead and look at a different one that we have as well. Our last one for the night. And this is 1956, Book 1. Sweet, Sweet Little Ramona. That's a graphic novel by Steve Loeffler. And it has 6 days to go instead of hours. So you have a little time to think about it. He had roughly a $600 goal. It's at $1,448, so it's already funded. And let's look what Steve has to say.
Well, I never had a choice. I was drafted in the cartoon army from the get-go, from day one. We're talking about 1956, Book 1, Sweet, Sweet Little Ramona. This is set in the garment district of Manhattan by day and the legendary jazz clubs of 52nd Street by night. You might see Coltrane or Miles or George Shearing. Quite a story we got for you here. This is the story of Susie and Jack, both young and ambitious as they vie for the job of head buyer for the McCurdy's department store chain. Who will get the job? And will Susie and Jack fall in love? This is the story of Ramona, a young trans woman from Texas and New York City. Can she achieve her dream of becoming a fashion model and quitting the street life? 1956 brings together this ambitious ensemble of characters to an exciting mid-century setting in New York, and they have to figure out how to work together to achieve their dreams. And ultimately, through hard-won friendship, they discover the journey is its own reward. 1956, Book 1, Raising Money to Print the Book. That's right. Other rewards besides 1956 Book 1 include my graphic novels Bug House and Lucha Brua. So there you have it. I really respectfully and humbly ask for your support for this book, 1956. And go ahead and press that green button, man. I'm looking for the privilege to continue to channel what I got into comics. And I ask you to join me in that. Have a good one, man. Bye-bye. "1956, Book 1 was inspired by the early career of my dad, Donald W. Loeffler, who passed away in 2019. Love you, Dad."
Okay, now, again, he's been doing underground comics since 1981 with Mean Cat and other different stuff. I know that I haven't covered Bug House, but that's part of what caught my eye was this is the guy who did Bug House, and I had seen some other people review it, and I liked what I saw there, and I just hadn't seen the book to get it, and so that's part of what caught my eye in this particular Kickstarter. Let's take a quick look again. This is about people who work, the garment district in Manhattan of that year of 1956, and the legendary jazz clubs of 52nd Street at night. It's got an interesting art style. And not only is it 56, we're talking about characters that are going to be in relationships that are going to be interracial relationships, but we got again a trans character, young trans woman, trying to find herself and be herself in the atmosphere of 1950s New York City, which is a completely different worldview than today. So that's going to be a little bit interesting to see where where Steve takes it. This will be printing of book 1, 56-page first installment, which he will serialize over the next 2 years. He also gives Dog Boy and Bughouse graphic novels as pet paintings as well, which means you take a photo of your pet and he'll paint it for you as one of his pledge rewards. Let's go ahead and take a look at what his pledge platforms are. For book one, for $1, you can get the PDF, which is the 56 pages for $1. I mean, come on, that's hardly that's a gimme practically. Pledge 14 or more, you get the print edition signed by him. Pledge $26 or more, you get book 1 and an original ink drawing. That's 5 inches by 8 inches. On Strathmore Bristol board, signed by him. That's awesome. And this is delivered in, really in like 8 weeks. This is going to be delivered in November. So this is pretty cool. For $50 or more, you can get, the book 1 for 1956, Lucha Bruja, which came out in 2019 at 144 pages, which is basically about Mexican wrestlers with the traditional lucha libre type stuff, which, being a wrestling fan, that interests me to some part. But the Bughouse, 2,192 pages. It's an alternate history of bebop jazz featuring bugs on drugs. So it's like, that sounds, the bugs are playing the instruments and stuff like that. And I've seen reviews for it, and it just caught my eye. So I thought that might be interesting to get. And that's probably what I'll end up buying, is that myself. The dog bundle, you can get the Dog Boy, which is 488 pages. That's an oversized book that gets you pretty much all of his old stuff in one book from like the 80s, all of his underground books in like a nearly 500-page book. And you get a drawing of Dog Boy on archival Bristol board as well for $60. That's a damn good deal too. You can get an acrylic painting of Ramona. You can get a pet painting of any, well, here you go, Mark. And that might be a little bit steep for you, but you can get your corgi painted. So that's actually pretty cool. He's got a lot of pretty cool pledge rewards, I think. He's funded 4 Kickstarters in the past, so he likes that, I think. So, reliable. I'm down for it. I'm going to go ahead and order the 51, I think. Yeah, the one with, the one with the Bughouse and Lucha Bruja, probably. Get that later this week. Now I'll cover our books for crowdfunding so far this week. Now, I told you guys I had a little bit of a difficulty with the Steve Rude PDF. For some reason, it's not showing up. I think I have a solution. Just give me a second. Let me see if I can make it work, okay? I'm going to stop the camera, but I'm still here. Okay. Okay, let's see what we can do here. I want to try to do it this way, but I can't tell. Can you? Well, shoot. Hold on a second. Could you got? Yeah, you guys could see what was on the screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just go through this with. There's two PDFs from Steve that I got that I ordered off of his Kickstarter. All right, I'm going to try and get a little bit closer here. And I'm going to try and go ahead and share the screen with you guys. This is the cover to one of the books. And the sketchbooks and commissions from 2015 to 2020. And this came out in end of July, I guess, is what he's saying. Like, I got it like a week ago. And that was, well, let's go back up a little quick here. That's Gwen Stacy sketch and color marker from 2010. This is a Nexus illustration that was done as a promotional image for Nexus Gormando in watercolor and colored pencil. And then it's just a brief introduction to Steve and his family. Because this is done PDF file in the actual print book, which I will get, and I will re-review this series when I get the actual print books. They're coming in the mail eventually here. But you see where the image is cut off. It's a 2-page spread. And we'll go ahead, and it's like, it's got Supergirl and some of the other characters in there to with his daughters and stuff in there. So, or actually, it's his wife as Supergirl, aka Princess, holding up all the kids and the cats and pets. Pretty cool. Here's some of Steve's process work. This is a sketchbook log 33 from December 2018. And then there's the actual pastel piece that he did off that work. Another sketch of Nexus and Dave from the character from the story Nexus. This is black marker with black Prismacolor pencil. It was a sketch done at the Dallas Comics Expo in 2019. This is Sandra Peel, another character from Nexus. Is a color marker done as a part of the Kickstarter from 2014. Another Nexus sketch marker done during a European tour. Another one from the reversed angle, so it's basically from the one previous. Here's Judah, the hammer from Nexus, another marker sketch that he did in 2014 European tour. Another one. That's his what was that character's name? Creed from Nexus turned into Omac, which is kind of cool looking character. And there's Creed as Omac again. And there's a regular Omac. A lot of cool stuff in this. Another Creed as Omac sketch. This is a Quattro's character based on MODOK. Done in marker. Here's Quattro, which is a race done as a Green Lantern. A female Quattro is Medusa. Looks like matter eater. It says omnivore, eats anything. It's like I'm thinking it's a Quattro as matter eater lad personally, but it just didn't do it. Didn't do the costume, but it's cool. These are basically designs, commission sketches he did based off the Nexus character properties. Vox the Hunter, which is a Quattro Veil Barbarian. That's Nexus's Black Death McGee in marker. Sorry about that. I had to cut and see if anybody was saying anything. We'll go right back to it real quick here. There we go. This is Sophie from Steve's The Moth book. Done in 2014. This is, whoop, pardon me, went too far. This is supposed to be Jill Samut from Nexus, done in watercolor and pencils. And I'm thinking, that's like, I mean, it is with that character you're saying, but it's also like, I don't know, really sexualized Squirrel Girl or something. I don't know. That's what I was thinking. It's like what if Squirrel Girl takes off the coat and looks at, I don't know. But just another bushy tail, I guess. But oh well. It's kind of a cool thing though. And if you actually can watch this piece get made on his YouTube channel, which is Steve Rude the Dude. So if you want to take a look, he's probably got that in his archives on his channel. You can actually watch that being drawn, which is a cool thing. Another picture of Sundra from Nexus. Here's some more breakdowns and color theory and structure process work from his logbook. And some more. Now this book is like huge. I think it's like something like 192 pages or something like 182 pages, pardon me. So I'm not going to show the whole book tonight. Whoops. But you can see, this is his son Brandon done in oil on canvas. This is another piece that he did on oil and canvas called The Fountain of Youth. And it shows the process of how he made different poses for the different figures in the painting there. And it's a close up, more charcoal studies and photo references. Another piece of with Sandra Peel. It's a painting of her with a rabbit for Easter. And this was done actually just a few months ago. This was done that they did a campaign during their COVID-19 lockdown last, whenever Easter was this past year. So was that March? You know, early May, early April maybe. Here's another study. I like how in this particular piece, this looks a lot like John Booth with the hatchwork style that he's using here. John Booth is a classical illustrator that we'll talk a little bit more about when we get to the Frank Cho stuff. Nice pencil work there, the gradations, painting. And then again, we're doing the, this is done with a vintage Galat number 290 quill pen, the John Booth type hatching illustration style. More colored pencils and paint, and discussion of what he wants to do with the Prisma strokes compared to pastel. With all his paintings, he Xeroxes the pencils for future reference to refer to. Make a big soft mass of color, start refining smaller details, referring to the penciled Xerox for reference. So that kind of gives you he gives you a little bit of a preliminary idea of what his thinking process is in his paintings with that information. Watercolor and colored pencil experiment, which is pretty cool. That's a pencil, or not a pencil, but a regular sketch they did in his Art in Motion book in marker. Mm-hmm. This is opaque watercolor and colored pencil, which is gives you a different look. It kind of makes it look a little bit more like the Alex Toth classic ghostwriter stuff, which is definitely an influence on him. In fact, I don't know if you've seen the Nexus animated cartoon. You might want to look that up on Google Nexus cartoon. You'll see that he really gets influenced by Alex Toth's Space Ghost stuff. Here's a person who requested their son drawn as Nexus for his 2nd birthday. I don't know if a 2-year-old would really know what he's being down there, but okay. Here's the moth. And here's again is the Nexus. And again, you see the Nexus ship is a lot like Space Ghost's cruiser, the Phantom Cruiser. So lots of cool stuff in here, though. Oh, I'm going, whoops. Didn't realize it'd gone up like that. So that's the first book. And like I said, that's 182 pages of that book. That's one of the sketchbooks I got from Steve in the PDF file. We're going to take a quick look at the other one now. I'm going to sit up here. Okay. Just give me a second here. There we go. And this is the Kickstarter 2020 Spidey booklet, which came with this order. You see Mary Jane painted there. Empire State University, where they all went to college, supposedly, in the Marvelverse. Okay. As you can see, this is a picture of Elvis Presley and Anne Margaret, done as Peter Parker and Anne Margaret. It's from Viva Las Vegas. So, as the movie, but he said, "Love Me Tender just fits better for that commission." So, cool. And apparently, John Romita admitted when he first saw the film Viva Las Vegas, he was inspired by Anne Margaret for the Mary Jane characters. That's really interesting. Love the way he did the sequin dress design there. It just looks really cool. This is a painted request of Steve Ditko's cover to Spider-Man 23. And that's actually not Steve. That's actually artwork by John Romita there. But this is his stuff working on Spider-Man Lifeline project number 2 issue rough pages from Steve. Most of the pencils. Here's one of the inked sketch requests. Beautiful stuff. I don't know if Nick Cagnetti's watching or not, but I see a lot of his style when he does Pink Lemonade. I can see him being influenced by Steve Root a lot when I see this kind of stuff too. Another color marker. And this whole book is entirely Spider-Man related pieces. So a lot of sketches, a lot of requests. The cover rough for Spider-Man Lifeline, which he did the work on. And this is 54-page book. Very kind of, pretty cool stuff. Has a nice 60s vibe to it throughout. Different language that they wanted. So that's about half the book that I'm showing. And it's just, really nice stuff. And it's definitely worth the money I got on those books. And again, when I get the actual physical books, I'll share them again so that you guys can see them even closer than that. And hopefully it won't be as difficult to share. Now, The other book we got this week is this monster. Inch and a half thick from Bless Publications, The Art of Frank Cho. Nice glossy cover. This is a monster 338-page book. It's $40. This is a 20-year retrospective of his product. Let me see if I can adjust this just a little bit. There we go. You can see the little cat, tiger cub, hanging on her ankle there. Little ankle biter. Sorry if my fingers are blocking some of the piece hole there. That's a nice little werewolf start to open the book. Full color pieces of Red Sonja in the middle of the war zone. This is his early work starting out with. He started out actually as a political cartoonist. I don't think people really realize that about Frank. But Ronald Reagan, Ike, Eisenhower, Bush and Truman, quite a few other people in there. Some of his regular student study work, painting and basic drawing. And then, of course, he was starting to get into some of his comic book work at that time, a little bit after, with Liberty Meadows while he was in college. Now, this particular piece, I'm getting a little bit closer up in there. I don't know if, yeah, there we go. You can see it. This is what I was talking about, the John Booth hatch line style. Frank is a big proponent of that style, does a lot of artwork that way. Major student of that. There we go, a little bit sharper look at it. Does beautiful work on that for the drapery. We've seen quite enough of the Liberty Meadows. Our friend John Norris mentioned a certain movie by Scott. So I think it's Scott. Let me check real quick here. Scott Savas. Okay, that was close. Animal Crackers program movie, and and John's a big fan of that movie. Well, I don't know if John's seen this, but Frank did an Animal Crackers poster, cartoonish page here for that movie. I don't know if they printed the poster or what the situation was. Let me see if I can figure it out. Just the movie poster. Colors were Brandon Peterson. It was probably just for promotional stuff. Yeah. It was for the actual release of the movie in theaters, I think. So this is some of his T-shirt design work for conventions. This was an actual T-shirt from MegaCon with the alligator wearing the M T-shirt, wearing the M shirt. So that's kind of cool. You don't get to see a whole lot of his cartoony stuff. outside of Liberty Meadows because he became known for being, sexy women jar. But there's some of his other stuff. This is a mouse guard piece he did with the owl over here on this side, and a Yosaki Yojimbo piece that he did as well. Just going to kind of go flipping through here. I could really spend like 3 or 4 hours just talking about different pieces in this book. There's just amazing stuff. But I want to try and find I'll show a little bit of this. This is his pencil work, which we don't get to see a whole lot of. This is when he was trying to do get the Tarzan job from Dark Horse early on, doing the apes and stuff like that. He's a big ape fan, monkey fan. If you didn't know that, he actually draws himself as a monkey when he draws, refers to himself as the artist. He's also a big John Carter Warlord of Mars fan by Burroughs. This is the white gorilla from that era, from that concept. Four-armed. I'm really looking for some more of that Booth crosshatch stuff. I know it's in here. It's just where is it? Well, let's look at some other stuff. I'll find this beautiful art with Frank Cho. You can't go wrong. This is acrylic and oils both. Started out in acrylics, didn't like it, finished it in oils. That is a very difficult thing to do. Another thing that Frank's really well known for is doing ballpoint pen sketches that are just amazing stuff. This female figure that you see here, if you can tell or not, that is not pencil, that is ballpoint pen. All that shading is ballpoint pen cross-hatching. And you can probably see it a little bit better in the faces. But, there you go. Next page, you can see the cross hatching he's doing with a pen. That's all ballpoint pens work. Like I said, 388 pages for $40. You can't go wrong on this. I mean, amazing stuff. Here we go. Here's a Booth type illustration. Sherlock Holmes. This one. Beautiful work. Absolutely gorgeous. So I'm very pleased I got that. Cannot recommend it more than that. I possibly hide. So that was our guest appearances of Steve and Frank, so to speak, for the show. So, I'm going to do a quick reminder for those of you who might not have been here at the beginning of the show. My own art book is available. Wingman, our Lewis Bright Raven. It's 48 pages, black and white. $10 plus shipping and handling, or $15 with a sketch inside. The sketch will be on the inside below the over here underneath the logo design on the front page. And it gives a little bit about my background and my interests when I started out working out. When I was really young, doing stuff in like grade school, junior high with the Ram here. Some of the other stuff I did a little bit later with fantasy art. And then when I started getting in college, when I started doing inking work over other artists and stuff, like on this ghostwriter over Chris Burns, when I was starting fanzine work, and co-founded the website, or not the website, the student organization at Central Michigan University, the Comic Artists Press Alliance at Central Michigan University. And here's some other inking I did over one of the other members of Kappa CMU, the guy that's flying into space there, Harold, by Bob Nugent. And the other two characters are my characters. Cygnus from Supreme 6 and Windstorm from Supreme 6 with Bob's inks on my art. And then a little bit more modern stuff at that time. I've been getting work done at that period because this came out in 2011 originally. So again, if you're interested in that, you can inquire. I've got plenty of copies available. You just go Quoth the Raven LBR 72. Quoth the Raven LBR 72 at gmail.com. You can get the book itself for $10 plus shipping and handling, or $15 with a sketch inside for the character you want. Please keep it PG or cleaner PG, so to speak. I don't want to do nudes or grotesque stuff necessarily. I'll do a zombie or something, but I'm not going to get too hairy, so to speak. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at our reviews for this thing. We just looked at the art of Frank Cho. Obviously, it's $40. Frank Cho is the artist with John Fluss. There's an interview in the book with Frank. It just came out, as far as I know. It was I think it was released this past week. At least that's when I got it. It has 336 pages. It's got over 600 images, breakdowns, finished pen and ink, illustrations, paintings, all kinds of stuff in there, like I showed you. It's over an inch thick as a paperback, so I hate to see what the hardcover looked like and feels like. But it feels like a damn anchor, I'm telling you. When I got this book in the store, I was just like, I thought I was going to drop it through the glass counter. It was so heavy, but it's worth every penny. And I give it a 5-star review. Cannot recommend it highly enough. Let's go ahead and go on to our next one, and that is Barabbas #1 and #2. And this is one of our throwback Thursday. We're looking back at the 80s this week, and the publisher was Slade Labor Graphics. The writer is Dan Votto with artist Gino Atanasio, and the genre is anthropomorphic fantasy comedy. And it was released in 1986. What caught my eye was the covers on these. On on issue number 1, they got a Frank Kuroko cover. Frank is the artist that did a lot of work on Alien Legion for Marvel. That's what he's best known for. And that caught my eye. He also did some other cover art for Marvel back in the 80s. And the second issue with the Wanted poster, that's actually Jim Valentino's art. So I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. That's why I grabbed these. And I got these a couple of weeks back when John and I went to the store and bought the 50 cent or dollar. It's 50 cent then, I guess. But anyway, what's kind of cool about this? First, let me tell you what the book's about. The story revolves around a mouse named Risby, whose father defies the local lord who is a gorilla and gets killed. Desperate for revenge, Risby sets out to find the legendary mercenary Barabbas in order to hire him to kill his father's murderer. Only Barabbas isn't quite what Risby expected. Ages 13 and up, 3 out of 5 stars. Now I'm going to go ahead and take a little thing here because this is the backing board. Well, that's not, yeah, the wrong one. I got to get the other one out. There we go. This is the backing board that came with the book. Can you see where that came from? I live in South Carolina. It kind of goes to show that you can get comics anywhere from everywhere, and how people acquire different things at these stores is just funny to me. Especially since I used to live out west, and I never saw it out west. To get it over here all these years later is funny as hell. But anyway, let's take a quick look at some of the interior art. This is the interior cover and also on the first page. Now, the reason I scanned this in is because of this little box at the right below at the very end on the left side of the image. It says distributors, and the artwork's okay. For it's cartoony. It's meant to be cartoony and stuff, but it's very significant because this is 1986, and there's 16 distributors listed that he goes through, that this book is available through. I'm going to give you a little bit of a close-up of that part of it. These are the distributors he goes through: Bud Plant, Diamond, Glenwood, Capital City, Alternate Realities, Styx, Andromeda, Comex, Multibook, Southern Fantasies, Cavco, Superhero Enterprises, Sunrise, Comics Hawaii, Crown, and Friendly Franks. Now, that's 16. But here's the thing. At that time, there was also Last Gasp, Comics Unlimited, Destiny, Heroes World, Second Genesis, Galileo, Robin Hood, Titan, and yet another 4 distributors. Imagine our comics industry today if we had that many distributors available to us to market our books through. Nobody would be hurting the way we are. That's just insane. And it's not like I'm not saying that this book sold a huge number of copies. I don't know whether they did or not. I should probably ask Dan if he remembers, and I probably will ask him. But with that many distributors, even if you get say 50 or 100 copies, well, that's 1,600 issues, 800 to 1,600 issues sold. And he probably got more than that because this is the 80s and almost everything was getting reasonable orders at that point. So he probably did pretty high numbers, probably got 5,000 or 6,000, I would guess, at that time, even through that many different distributors, because today, with only Diamond, that book wouldn't even get carried, most likely, which is a shame. Let's take a further look on the artwork. I'm going to go back one real quick. Again, to take a look at that first page. This is the Mouse Village of Sawgrass at the Harvest Festival, and they're having fun when the gorilla guy comes to collect taxes. And his father gets mad and he goes, well, are you going to give me money or not? And whoops, just destroys him, and then throws him like a spear into a wall, and he splatters out, and you can see the outline of the body as he collapses against the spear. I just think that's rather well done imagery there for the artist. Now he goes, "Am I collect some taxes, or am I going to make a turnip salad?" And everybody goes and gets their tax money out, except for the son, who's about ready to, he's just furious, and he just smacks him to the side, and that's it. This is the back covers on the ads for other things from Slade Labor Graphics. It's Science with Dr. Radium, which was done by Scott Savardia. That's why I was thinking that name earlier. When I said Scott Savardia, it says Scott Sava. And Hero Sandwich, which is Beecham with Vado. I have not seen either one of these books out in the wild. Would love to see what these books are. So if you happen to come across them and they're really cheap, get them for me and ship them to me, and I'll give you a reward in exchange. Okay. It's Science with Dr. Radium and Hero Sandwich. When I say something reasonable, I mean like $1 or less for the books. You get them in decent shape in the quarter or dollar bins type thing. Not, don't go to the store and they want like $8 for it or something. No, $1 or less. Okay. Our next book is Gizmo, and it is from Mirage Studios. Writer artist Michael Dooney. The genre is science fiction action comedy. Released also in '86. And what it's about is Gizmo the Robot Man and his think ship, Soto, that's the red ship on the cover that he's leaning against, land on a planet to get Soto's power cells replaced after an unexpected trip they had to take to help a marooned ship. Gizmo gets into trouble with the local constabulary and is about to get blasted by a giant reinforcement robot when his old friend Fluffy Brockleton just happens to be in the area and crashes the scene. Together, they get the cells and make a daring escape from the planet. Next stop, the pleasure planet Shandar. I loved this cover when I first saw it in junior high school, but I never got to actually read the comic because the kid who had the copy at school wouldn't share it. He was afraid I was going to steal it or something. I guess I don't remember. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I've looked for this book for years and just happened to come across this again a few weeks ago at Heroes and Dragons locally when John and I went there for the one going through the back issue boxes. And this is the full double page spread of the cover by Michael Dooney. And this is where Gizmo gets in trouble with the enforcer bot. Yeah, nice little laser beam. Just kind of burns a hole through the whole port there. And he's about to get killed when Fluffy shows up and starts busting up robots. And so I really did enjoy that particular book. There's another issue I now have to find. But that was the only issue I ever saw was this particular issue was this, and I'm just grateful to finally got a chance to look at it. As I recall, I was in like 7th or 8th grade when this came out, and there was a lot of people that were bringing in the Turtles books at that time to class. And since the Turtles were so rare and were going up in value so highly, so quickly, since this was a Mirage book from the same publisher, I think maybe they were afraid that, don't let him see it because he might take it and I won't have my comic book type thing, I guess. It's all I can think of. But, at least I got one now. Our next book is a Conrad trilogy. It has a $1.50 cover price. It's from Pacific Comics. The writer-artist is Tim Conrad. Was a very prolific indie artist back in that era, with colors by Jim Bertrand and letters by Bob Jessup. The genre is fantasy and science fiction, and it was released in January of '84. And what it's about is in this one-man anthology, there are 3 stories. The first one is about the moment of evolution from caveman or Cro-Magnon to self-awareness in the beginning of Homo sapiens. The second story is about a young sorcerer's apprentice whose master has been tasked with transmuting a large sum of lead into gold as a means for this duke to pay ransom for his kidnapped son and the lessons learned of the secret of magic. And the final story is about a science fiction story where a woman scientist is caught up in a sandstorm and her seemingly destroyed robotic companion rescues her. Ages 15 and up, 4 out of 5 stars. Pretty interesting cover looking here. I don't know if there's more of these issues or not, but this is the interior art. This was the first page. It's Prometheus Primeval is the caveman story. There's a little bit of pseudo nudity in it. You don't see it here. It's cut off, but there, at the bottom, at the pubic hair, but for the man. But there is a scene. It's well darkened in shadow, but it's like, you guys remember how everybody geeked and freaked out about Batman's wiener showing? It was like that, shadow stuff. So, I say 15 up because as far as I'm concerned, a 15-year-old should be old enough and mature enough to handle, especially today. So I don't think anything of it. But you might feel it might be more mature readers for that one reason. But that's the only thing I would say, give you a heads up on. All that glitters is the medieval story. And it's interesting artwork, And this is an ad page for one of the other books from Pacific with Gray Morrow, who's another excellent artist, but I haven't seen that particular book. But this is the science fiction story, Red Rover. And there's the little robot that's with her. And they're kind of linked with a extended hose that it kind of helps generate oxygen for her. And this glider ship is her husband's flying it and saying, hey, you need to get home before the sandstorm comes. And unfortunately, what happens is she's trying to do some rock work and geophysics stuff, and there's an avalanche, and she gets caught in there, and the robot seems to get crushed by the avalanche, and she thinks she's going to die, and they lose track of her. The sandstorm comes. The husband and their son is in the not in the flyer, but on a ground transport looking for them, and the kid figures out and can see the rover, which there's no way this rover's supposed to be even existing, but it's actually the rover's actually dragging her unconscious body to safety. So it's a pretty cool book, well done story. So I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, and that was our Throwback Thursday episode for this week. And that's pretty much all our reviews for this week. Didn't have a lot of time to read everything I wanted to read, unfortunately. Part of the reason is, like I said, I kind of rejoined in the questions and answers I mentioned. I had joined a Facebook group called the United Fanzine Organization, which has all that historical stuff for fanzines and underground comics and ash cans and stuff like that. And so I dug up a lot of my old stuff that I did have. And as you can see, it's sitting there on top of my printer. And I've been scanning that stuff in so that I can send it to their lead person so that they can get it archived on their main website. And when that's done, I'll put a link to that so people can see that stuff as well. In fact, I hope to get him or some of the other members on the show as guests in the future. But also today, I got a little something in the mail. I want to give them a shout out. I made an order for some underground independent comics from the Copacetic Comics Company in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I don't know if you can read their address there. It's in Dobson Street, floor number 3, in Pittsburgh, PA. And I had a heck of a time getting this thing open. But they had packed it in this thing all wrapped up. And then they had paper wrapping outside it, protecting it even more. And it was, probably around, pretty thick pack of stuff here. It was this thick. So let's go take a quick look. I haven't had a chance to read any of it. But let's take a look at what I got real quick, and we'll review them next week. Got a little Ashcan comic here from Sophie France called The Experts. It's a science fiction horror story. And it came out in 2016 from Retrofit 45 Publishing. I think I've mentioned it before in the past. We were doing some of the online shopping in past episodes, so I got that. I'm pretty sure I mentioned this one as well. This is also from Retrofit. Iceland from Yuichi Yokoyama. And this is produced like a Japanese manga. You read it from right to left instead of left to right. So this will be an interesting thing because I haven't had to do that in a while. It's not a problem. I can do it. It's just I haven't done one like that in quite some time. So I'm looking forward to looking at that and seeing what thing is. It is translated, of course, into English. So show you can see if there's English right there. But so I'll let you guys know what I think of that next week. I got Jim Rugg's Deadliest Girl Alive, Street Angel Deadliest Girl Alive collection. This is supposed to be all the stuff in one collection that he did. And I don't know if this is something that Jim added in there or if it's supposed to come out or what, but there's like a postcard inside that's signed by him in between the cover and the front page there. So that'll be interesting to go through. Another one from Retrofit, Big 45, I believe. No, this is Retrofit Comics and Big Planet Comics, and this is Paloma Dawkins' Summerland. I think John and I reviewed this or previewed this, and so one of us or two of us might get that. I got that. It is autographed by Paloma. And Peculiar by Richard Sala. and this is from Fantagraphics. So I will be reviewing these books and some other stuff next week. And so without further ado, I want to say thanks for watching. And we will see you guys probably on Saturday for the live draw, where I do the Sketches on the Wingman art book. I'll be right back. I just have to check something real quick. Okay, sorry about that. We'll also be reviewing the Broken Frontier anthology. This has 27 stories in the hardcover anthology. It's from a Wave Blue World. So we'll be reviewing that as well, and some other books, and we'll also have our throwback issues from the 80s as well. So if you want to reach me, you can reach me at Facebook at lewis.brightraven, deviantart.com/brightraven, here at YouTube at Quoth the Raven Lewis Brightraven. The email is quoththeravenlbr72@gmail.com. Again, if you want to order the Wingman art book, just, they're $10 a book or $15 with a sketch. You just, inquire at that email, subject matter Wingman art book. Or if you have questions or you just want to make a comment about the show, that's the address you can reach me at. Or if you can't reach me there, you can try lewisbrightraven@yahoo.com. The podcast normally airs Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And with that, I believe that should be all for this evening. So I'll bid you adieu. Have a safe weekend, everyone.